Anishinaabe Duke. Hello, my fellow Anishinaabe. On a motion indigenous cause, dog is my name. That's right, dog is my name. Anyway, on a motion is actually my name. I just wanted to remind y'all that we do have links in the description box to our Patreon account, to Michael's Amazon page, to the GoFundMe campaign. What else we got down there? Teespring. Oh yeah. And Teespring. Also, if you'd like to support the show, give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Alright. I guess that's all I had to say. Now back to more BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. I'm just gonna dance for the intro. Yeah. Hey. You know, when I was a kid, I was a bit of a headbanger. You were a headbanger? Yep. In the 80s, when we really liked a song, we didn't dance, we just bang our heads. We just go. You know. It's like you were nodding approval. Hey, good job playing your instruments and singing those songs, heavy metal group. Yes, we agree. This is really, really good music. Thank you so much for making me deaf in my... I'm not middle-aged. What do you mean? 50, almost 55, you are no longer middle-aged. You're too old. No one lives to be 110. A midlife crisis has to happen in your 30s? Late 30s, maybe 40. I'll give you 40. And then you're deep in the midlife crisis. But I saw a commercial for that. So gross. I've never actually seen the show. About those 3 old withered prunes living in the city. Those ladies. Sex in the City? Yeah. The next chapter? Yeah. Just like that, there's another chapter. Just like that, there's another chapter. And you see these old crones, these childless old biddies, just discarded by society because, you know, they came from the streets and then, you know, to the cracks in the streets, she will return. Anyway, so these 3, I don't know what their stories are. I'm guessing they're single ladies in the city going on dates, spreading HPV and Lord knows what kind of STDs. And they're having dinner together someplace. And the one lady goes, "Oh, you're having a midlife crisis." I'm like, what? You ladies are in your 60s. It's way past midlife crisis time. Nobody's living to 120. But we got these senior citizens going, "Oh, I'm having a midlife crisis. Where's my life going? I'm 65. You know where it's going? You know, it's going to go into the hospital and never come out. That's where it's going. Quit having a midlife crisis at 65. I know, it's ridiculous. But are you having a post-midlife crisis? Not really. 50s are the new 20s. Nah. So what's going on here? Hey, Zagame's here. Well, bonjour, Zagame. Mino Giga Jabe. Zagame's here, sweetie. Well, good morning, Zagame. How you doing, my girl? She goes, golden 2 days in a row. That's right. Let's get a gold star for Zagame. First in class. I don't know why Daniel Black can't be more like you. He's always second. Bonjour, Daniel. Let's give Daniel a silver star. Yeah, silver star for Daniel. Yeah, I guess better late than never, huh? What? We're 3 hours late. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't say anything today. We're really on Indian time. Diane Swope. Hello, BOOZHOO, Diane. Let's get the bronze star for the ginger girl, Diane. Bronze for a ginger. Should I give her an orange star? Yeah. A lot of people won't understand this, but Diane Swope is sort of a ginger. Ginger is when you have like red hair and freckles. Yeah. You know, they're a lot like human beings. Sometimes you can't even tell the difference between a ginger and like a normal person. Hey, don't say that. They're normal people. Oh yeah, no, they're very special. Secretly, I kind of think every ginger is. Remember that movie Powder? How about that albino kid? Yeah. I kind of suspect every ginger can bend spoons with their minds. And I've never actually seen a ginger sleep. Do they sleep or do they roam the night? You know, I know they hate the sun. Do they love the moon? You think they're moon worshippers? I bet you they're moon worshippers. I don't know. I don't want to start any rumors, Diane. I'm just saying, you might be unholy creatures of the night. Or just normal people. You know. Don't want to be racist. Okay. Today, hey, you know what today is, sweetie? It's a big old blizzard outside. Yeah, I know. We're having a blizzard in northern Minnesota. All the roads are trapped down. Didn't even go to church today. Cousin Tommy was like, forget that, man. I'm not going to risk my life just to go save my soul. I'll be meeting God if we drive on the roads today. So we're going to have to do some praying indoors. Yeah, huh? Anima e Gija Good. It's prayer day. Sunday is a sacred day of prayer. This is a day when you should pray to your Creator, to the Great Spirit, to the Lord Jehovah, to whatever you want to call him. Anima e. It's prayer day. And kind of a theory we got about this in this house is that Sunday got coined prayer day in boarding school. When the little Indian kids were like, okay, wait, what are these white people? They got a different name for every day of the week. What do they call this day? And I go, Sunday. Sunday. How am I going to remember that? You know, like the prayer day. That's the day we go to church. You know, mass or whatever they had in boarding school. So, okay, prayer day. Anima e Gija Good. Sundays are Anima e Gija Good. Got it. What about Jesus? Jesus? The sun? They could have called it Jesus Gija Good for the Sunday. I don't know why they don't do that. Yeah. But, you know, for the last couple of prayer days, we've said, I've told some Bible stories. Yeah, you gonna tell a Bible story? I wasn't planning on it. I think I used up all my Bible stories. I only know the Bible very well up through the story of Noah. You know, that's all pretty much in the first chapter of the first book. I know. So, when I was back in the days of the grandfathers, I went to college and studied literature. And they're like, hey man, why don't you take this class, the Old Testament, as literature? You can learn the Old Testament. And I went, yeah, okay, whatever. Thursday nights, got it. You know. So I took this class, studied the Bible in a liberal arts college. And I learned two things. Number one, everything I thought I knew about the Bible, it comes and goes really quick. They go from Adam and Eve to Noah really fast. You know, there's a whole bunch of Old Testament stuff that never gets talked about in church. And I don't know. And then number two, I should never try to study spiritual literature in a college. Nothing makes you more of a brainwashed agnostic than liberal arts college. You get done reading that, it's like, man, that was boring. What's all this? We got to learn the history of the people at the time. And this professor is going to make no opinionated claim on important issues of your soul and stuff. It was worse than going to church. It was the most boring class I ever took. Nah, I took a lot of boring classes, but I was up there. I don't know. Daniel Black is back in black. He's back. Back in black. Back in black. Grassroots Indians is here, sweetie. No way. Hey, BOOZHOO, Grassroots. Grassroots says, stay golden, Zagame. Stay golden. All that's green is gold. I think Grassroots is laying down some outsiders. Is he going deep tracks, Outsiders? Yeah. Remember that movie, The Outsiders? So great. I'll always love The Outsiders and That Was Then, This Is Now. Tex. S.E. Hinton was a female young reader's author who wrote the book The Outsiders. And The Outsiders, and the story was that nobody would publish a lady who would write about inner city gangs fighting and stuff. So she had to go by S.E. Hinton. Didn't tell the publishers that she was just a lady. Because the characters were so rough. And the narrative's too real, you know. This wasn't Nancy Drew. She wrote about the outsiders, about the greasers, and the socias. Which I always thought was the socks. Yeah, when I read that book, I thought they were the socks. I was like, why do they call them the socks? And then the movie comes out, no, socias, they're socialites or something. Well, basically, it's two groups of white kids of male model rival gangs. The socias were the rich kids, and they had that Leif Garrett. Yeah, that was Leif Garrett's last hurrah. Yeah, who knew that Leif Garrett's career would be over after doing the movie The Outsiders with every huge actor from the 80s. They had Ralph Macchio, C. Thomas Howell, not Brad Pitt. That weirdo. I know what you're talking about. Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze. The world's most famous weirdo. Scientologist. Why am I gapping on his name? That's insane. He's the most famous person in the world. Not Brad Pitt. Not Johnny Depp. The other guy. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise is in there. Anyway, so the book and the movie are about these two rival gangs, and eventually some pretty homoerotic relationships between these teenage boys run away after killing one of them accidentally during one of their rumbles. It was rumbles kind of like how Joe Biden remembers his childhood. Yeah, with bicycle chains and stuff. Yeah. These rival gangs would get together like the whatever that movie was. And, fisticuffs, no weapons. Just brawling, just beat up each other. But you would also bring chains and knives occasionally. And so, one of the greasers, the poor kids who wore grease in their hair and leather jackets, or jean jackets, as, what's his face, Ralph Macchio, who later went on to study karate. That's the weird thing people forget. So, Outsiders happens, and Ralph Macchio dies of his wounds from getting knifed or something. Yeah, no, Ralph Macchio is the one who gets killed. And he's in the hospital room, and it's back in the 80s when people were still smoking in hospitals. Oh, Matt Damon. Not Matt Damon. Matt. The other Matt. Like, you can't smoke in here. It's what? It's just non-smoking area of the hospital. But then Johnny dies. And he's like, stay golden, pony boy. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. That's how tough these greasers were. They had nicknames like Pony Boy, Soda Pop. They call me M&M because I like sweets. Oh. They call me Sunshine Girl. You know, whatever. And he just died. Stay golden. And it's an allusion, a reference to a poem they read when they were lounging around in the meadows in the countryside, gazing lovingly in each other's eyes, reading poetry to each other. Ugh. I think that movie was pretty gay now. Totally gay. If not gay, it was for gay people. Because, you know, all the guys are just gorgeous. Oh, let's get a close-up of Brad Pitt taking off his t-shirt. Oh, was that in the book? Nah. Was Brad Pitt in the movie? Nah, you know what I mean. Tom Cruise. But then, what happens is that somehow Johnny comes back to life. And in the sequel, Johnny and his mom move out to California, where he meets an old Chinese guy who teaches him karate. And that was where the Karate Kid movie started. Is that right? It sure is. Nobody remembers that, but Daniel was an undead, resurrected version of Pony Boy, or Soda Pop, or whatever his name was. Johnny, I guess. Everybody's Johnny in my movies. Rambo. It's over. It's never over. It's over, Johnny. It's never over. I don't know, sweetie. I don't know. Oh, la la. Grassroots Indian says she makes skirts and skirts with Potawatomi design on them. Oh, shirts and skirts. She makes shirts and skirts with Potawatomi designs on them. She makes shirts and skirts with Potawatomi designs on them. We're gonna write a song where we say shirts and skirts and Potawatomi designs on them. Designs on them. Grassroots says, I don't know karate, but I know crazy. Yeah. Which is more deadly in a fight, karate or crazy? Yeah. I secretly suspect that karate's all fake. You think karate's fake? Yeah. I think it's a ballet. I think basically they made all those movies. Yeah. To make people think that Chinese people know some secret self-defense. And that actually anybody could beat up a Chinese guy. Wow. Do you have any idea how racist you sound right now? No, this is a theory. Wow. I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. Natasha thinks karate is fake. The ancient art of self-defense that's somehow practiced and mastered by little guys, you know, like Bruce Lee. Oh, he was so deadly. How tall was he? Like 5'1". He weighed 120 pounds. Oh, yeah. I'd hate to get into a fight with a guy that big. You know, he's the exact same size and proportion of your average female Minnesotan 5th grader. Yeah. Actually, less. I bet you the average female Minnesotan 5th grader is heavier than Bruce Lee ever got. I'm sorry, you guys. Bruce Lee's fake. I'm with you, sweetie. Okay. Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong Phooey. That's racist, too. How is that racist? Because they're saying that Hong Kong Phooey is a dog. It's racist against Hong Kong. Where is Hong Kong? Hong Kong's in China. Is it? Hong Kong's its own island. You don't even know. I don't know. I'm really sorry, you guys. Don't call me a racist. Well, sweetie, you better step it up. Shut up. What do we got going on here? We are the Goon Squad and we're coming to town. Beep, beep. Ooh, ah. Do, 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 do. Fa, 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 fa. Fashion. Goon is snow. That's actual physical stuff. Right now, we are racked in the savage clutches of I'm calling it the Alberta Clipper. Really? I don't know. Big old blizzards coming through North Dakota and Minnesota. It's going to snow up until over past midnight tonight, I think. We might get up to 10 inches of snow. Tomorrow there's a high of 1 degree, low of like 23 below, I think. And, I screwed up the sign again. And there's like 50 degree wind chills. Or, not 50 degree wind chills, but the wind is blowing at 50 miles per hour, sweetie. Should we go take a kite outside? You want to take a kite out in a blizzard? Yeah, fly a kite. You know, that would be kind of cool. I wonder what that would look, if that would work. Goon, snow. Zugipon, it is snowing. It is snowing right now, sweetie. I wonder if anybody's on the road. There's probably somebody right now going, the heck with it. I got a 4-wheel drive. I can probably make it. It is snowing. Get off the road, you guys. I know a lot of people in BOOZHOO crew like to get in their cars and drive around. They're called blizzard chasers. And they go, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on that old BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO while I'm driving. Woo! Yeah! Like, no, set that down. You can watch us later. You don't have to watch us live while you're driving through the blizzard. It's insane. You tell him, sweetie. Thank you, baby doll. I mean, I'm scared for your safety. You gotta use your mind. Use your brains. It is a blizzard. B1. It is a blizzard. It is a blizzard of Oz. Yeah. And today, you know what we should do, sweetie? What's that? I should tell a story. You can just tell a traditional story because it's snowing? Yep. There's a lot of people have heard that, you shouldn't tell the traditional lodge stories or whatever they call them. Arazuke, the traditional stories. A Dabaji Moen is a story. Any kind of story. I went to the store today and lady gave me a dirty look because I wasn't wearing a mask. That's a story. But an Arazuke is a sacred traditional story with a lesson. And in the Anishinaabe way, we would wait until the winter time to tell these stories. So sacred are these stories that people would sometimes kind of make it a taboo. They go, hey, don't tell that story until after it snows. I go, why? Well, because, I don't know, Gitchimanidu will kill you or something. It's like, and then I asked my elder once, I go, how come we can't tell the stories until after the snow flies? And he goes, well, when it's snowing and blizzarding outside, back in the days before Netflix and YouTube, people had to sit indoors and get bored. The storyteller was their only entertainment. And so it'd be like, okay, hey, we're all together in the lodge. That's kind of like what we're doing here. We're in a virtual lodge. It's blizzarding outside, but we got a fire here. And I'm going to tell an Arazuke. That should have been the word of the day. Today's Arazuke. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a group of kids. Nah! That's right, sweetie. There's a group of kids known as the Breakfast Club. I think it was 1985. And what a lot of kids won't understand anymore is that in the 80s, when your grandparents were in school, if you got into trouble for your punishment, if you did something wrong at school, your punishment was then make you come back to school on a Saturday. I was like, yeah, why don't you come sit in the library all day long Saturday and think about what you did? That was their punishment. They don't do that anymore. So, day comes where these 5 kids all got into trouble at school, so they had to come into Saturday school, in-school suspension, they called it. And there was Allie Sheedy, I think her name was Allison. She was like, we didn't have goth kids in those days, but she was essentially the 80s goth girl. She called herself a basket case or whatever, little artist girl. And then there was Bender. He was the, what would you call him? He was the bully, the class clown. He's kind of the class clown / bully, the criminal. Then there was Emilio Estevez. Yep. Emilio came from a very tough family. He had a brother who was really into drugs and went to Vietnam, I guess, called Charlie. But in this movie, Emilio is an athlete. And he's in trouble for essentially sexually assaulting a boy in the locker room. What do you mean? In the movie, the Emilio Estevez character, he's in there because he taped the buns together, the naked butt of another kid. He jumped on him while the kid was changing and put like duct tape or packing tape or something. Because he explicitly even mentions all the hair that would have been pulled when they took it off. And the humiliation that boy must have felt. Emilio should have went to jail, if you ask me. Yeah. And then there was Brian, the big brain on Brian. He started a fire by trying to kill himself with a flare gun or something. And then there was Claire, the princess. So they all arrive and the principal comes out and he's all like, well, 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 I want to commend you on your punctuality. It is 8 o'clock. For the next 8 hours, you will not talk. You will not move. You will not sleep, Mr. Bender. He knew him already because he's the bad kid. And today, we're going to write a little essay. I want you to write no less than 1,000 words of who you think you are. And then maybe you'll think twice about whether or not you want to return here. Huh? This is my jail today. You know. Brian gets up and he's all like, I could answer that right now. The answer is no, not for me. You know, just a little suck up. Yeah. And he's like, sit down, Brian. And he goes and he sits down in his office there. And throughout the day, the Breakfast Club, as they eventually would call themselves, they get to know each other. And that even though they all represent a different subtle clique difference of their pretty homogenized, you know, ethnically, economically, regionally, you know, in a way it's like all the different cliques, but in the way it's just one group of Hollywood people. But still, they learn that they're not so different after all. That even though, you know, maybe one girl likes to draw pictures and then has dandruff as snow, and another guy likes to smoke cigarettes in the library and use a shoe to light a cigarette or something. That even though they were so different at school, they all had something in common. You know what that thing was? What? Hated their parents. It's true. When you grow up, your heart dies. You just become your parents. And Bender's all like, who cares? And Allie, Sheedy, her eyes just well up, and she's all like, I care. Oh, I. Oh. That's why she drinks vodka. When does she drink vodka? Whenever. And so finally, in the end, they have some fights. Bender gets threatened by the principal. The janitor comes in and talks some smack. But in the end, the good-looking rebel kid hooks up and kisses or gets kissed by the princess. She gives him a diamond earring. That was probably a Christmas gift. You don't think she worked for the money to buy them diamond earrings? I bet those were a Christmas gift. And then the jock, of course, after Ali Sheedy cleans herself up and puts on some eye makeup and a hair tie or whatever, turns out she's pretty hot herself. She even takes off that bulky sweater and she's got kind of a sweet bod, So she just rips his letter right off his jacket somehow. She's a psychopath, but she's cute, so he's into her. And then the only kid who actually did his homework, Brian, he ends up kissing that essay. He's all proud of himself. He punches himself in the arm. I sure did a good job in this essay, which read, Dear Principal Chalmers. Not Chalmers. I think Principal Chalmers is from The Simpsons. Yeah. I don't know the principal's name. Dear Mr. Principal, you asked us who we think we are. What do you care? I could come up with polite definitions or whatever. But you see us as you want to see us. You see us as. And then one by one, they all kind of call out. A princess. An athlete. A criminal. A brain. A basket case. But we learned something about ourselves today, Mr. Principal, if that is your real name, which I doubt. We learned something, that we are all the Breakfast Club. So take your stupid essay that, this isn't for a class. You can't just make us write essays. What now, punishment is creative writing? Are you trying to erase any joy of creativity by making it a part of a punishment? I don't understand you. Anyway. And then, awesome 80s music comes up and we pan in to see Bender walking on the football field, fist pumping. Hey, 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 hey. Ooh, wow, wow. Don't you forget about me. I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. I love that movie. Yeah, me too. The Breakfast Club. And this is the story of the Breakfast Club. To learn more about the 80s, get into a DeLorean and drive 88 miles an hour, and you can teleport back in time. You can back in time. Whatever that movie was. Back to the Future? You could Back to the Future it. So, hey, sweetie. Yes, my love. Would you like to take a phone call? Sure. What line? Line 2. All right. Hello, caller. Welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air. Hey, yo, NANABOOZHOO, how you doing? Hey, it's Sylvester Stallone. Sweetie, Sylvester Stallone. Well, hi, Sylvester. Hey, yo, Natasha, you can call me Sly. Well, hi, Sly. How you doing? Not too bad. How you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah, I just wanted to call and make sure you guys are doing okay. How you handling that big old blizzard? Oh, yeah, it's really going... I'm guessing that after the show, I'll go out and I'll start digging. We're going to have to dig ourselves out of the driveway and the path at least 2 more times today. But I figured, might as well go out and... The snow is really light so far. But we're fine. Oh, yeah, it's... There's a time you can work out in the snow. You can work out in the snow? Yeah, one time I had to go to Russia, and I worked out in the wilderness, and I had to run up in the snow. And let me tell you, that's a good workout. Yeah, I suppose it would be. I don't think I'm going to do that, though. I think it's enough of a workout just to shovel snow today. Hey, did you drink your eggs this morning? Did I drink my eggs? No, I don't, I don't generally drink raw eggs. It's a delicious part of a balanced breakfast. Every morning I start with a glass of eggs. Forget about it. Yeah. Hey, Sylvester, you want to learn an Ojibwe word? Do I want to learn a Ojibwe word? Why do you think I called up? Okay. Today, goon is snow. Well, goon, snow. Yeah, that's real good. That's a real good word for snow. Yep. And then we say zugipon. It is snowing. Zugipon. It is snowing. Huh. Yep. And then we say B1. It is a blizzard. That's when it snows a lot and there's wind and cold. It was like a really bad snow. B1. It is a blizzard. B1. You know what? B1, you know what that makes me think of, NanaBOOZHOO? What does that make you think of? If you want to be a winner, then you gotta be one. You gotta be one. A winner? That's right. If you know what you're worth, then you gotta go out and get it. You can't go pointing your finger at that. Oh, you know where you want to be because of him or because of her. That's loser talk. And that ain't you. You're better than that. Okay, take it easy. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I get the roid rage. The roid rage? Yeah, the rage that comes after you take a whole bunch of steroids. Oh, that's right. You're pretty pumped up on them steroids, huh? Yeah, I gotta look my best, so I drink a whole glass of raw eggs, and then I take a dozen steroids. A dozen steroids. Sounds like a delicious breakfast. Oh, you better believe it. So, what else? I got the corona. You got the coronavirus? Oh, get out of here. Don't you get your vaccinations? No. I haven't gotten my chemical concoction just yet. You better go out there and get that. You might get the coronavirus and then forget about it. You got a 99.9% chance of, recovering, but, there's that 0.0023% chance. It'll knock you down to your knees and keep you there if you let it. Will it? Yeah, But it's not about whether or not you get the coronavirus. It's about whether you can get the coronavirus and keep moving forward. Really? You gotta take the hits and move forward. Because that's how winning's done. Oh, okay. That's how winning's done, sweetie. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't forget that, Natasha. That's how winning's done. I'll try to remember. So what's going on? You going to be making any more movies in the future? Well, let's see. I already remade Rambo, and I remade Rocky about 20 times. Maybe I should remake Over the Top. Over the Top? Was that the one where you're about a guy who arm wrestles or something? Yeah, I never actually saw the movie, but I was in a movie about a guy who arm wrestles or something. Or Judge Dredd. That's a pretty good movie. Judge Dredd. Yeah, you should probably make Judge Dredd 2. That was a pretty good costume. Yeah. Except I couldn't see anything. You couldn't see out of the Judge Dredd helmet? No, there's no eye holes. Oh, that's right. That was weird. Alright. Well, I better get going, Rock. I mean, Sylvester. Yeah, you can call me Sly. Alright. Hey, NanaBOOZHOO, can I ask you something? What's that? I was wondering if you wouldn't mind too much. Can you teach me how to say goodbye in Ojibwe language? Well, we don't really say goodbye. We say, Gigawabamin, Minawa. Gigawabamin, Minawa. Yeah, perfect. Hey, yo, Natasha. Yes? Gigawabamin, Minawa. Gigawabamin, Minawa, Sylvester. Oh, forget about it. All right, see you later, buddy. Wow. I know. I'm always so impressed when movie stars call in. I know, it's crazy. I mean, we're in Bemidji, Minnesota. You know, who am I? Nobody. And Rocky himself watches our show. You know, for as much of an inspiration as he has been to so many people, to a whole generation. You know, let's face it, essentially the lifting weights industry. Like, yeah, there used to be gyms in the 70s, like in California or something. But Rocky came out, and then suddenly everybody went, you know what? I feel a little bit like Rocky. I'm gonna go on a diet and start running or something. There was a whole fitness craze that came out because of a Sylvester Stallone. And now, fast forward 35 years, and it's me who inspires Sylvester Stallone. You think you inspire him? I'm sure of it. He wants to learn the Ojibwe language. Wow. I'm humbled, sweetie. Yeah, here's something. Wigisanawabung. It's going to be cold tomorrow, sweetie. It's going to be the first really cold day. High of 1 degree. 1 degree, sweetie. Happens every year. I know. I just don't know if I'm ready. We're ready. Who cares? I just hope the pipes don't freeze. Well, we can always turn on the space heater down there. Yeah. I always wait until the pipes freeze and then turn on the space heater. Maybe I should just turn it on. Well, what are we gonna do, baby? So yeah, Wigisanawabung is gonna be cold tomorrow. Big old blizzard today. On this Anima A. Oh, I didn't tell a Bible story. In the end, everybody dies, and the good people go to heaven, and the bad people. Oh, spoiler alert! And the bad people go to hell. Now you don't have to read your Bible. To learn more, watch The Chosen. Yeah. Everything I know about the Bible I learned on the TV series The Chosen. All right. Sweetie, you want to get up here? Sure. Up next, the lovely and the talented Natasha. Here's a message from Mick. We will return after these messages.
Oh yes, BOOZHOO. Oh Mick Nindigenous cause. Oh Mick is my name, Beaver. Oh Mick. In fact, there we go. Oh Mick Nindigenous cause. Beaver is my name. Zugipon. It is snowing. Zugipon. It is snowing. And these are just some Ojibwe phrases of the day. If you'd like to support BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, click the links in the description below. I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Menowa. Hoa! Hoa indeed.
I was born in 1913 in the storm of 1913. But then at boarding school, I was nobody's fool. Down at Flandreau, I grew madder every day. That's why I had to run away. 'Cause this is no way to live. And I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. But on a fateful day, me and my brother Ray, we planned our getaway. If we can make it to them tracks, we won't be coming back. We're gonna hop a train. I thought we got away, but then the cops came and took us back to a leather strap. But I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go. I remember it still. I saw a whippoorwill out on my windowsill. How could I sit still? So I got right up and I walked right out. The teacher said to me, "Where do you think you're going?" Boy, I said I'm going home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Me wiki way. Me wiki way. Me wiki way. Me wiki way. Oh, Giwe, home. It was really good, Michael. Well, now I'm bummed out. It's such a sad song. I know. That's beautiful guitar too, Michael. Hey, thanks a lot. BOOZHOO! How you doing? Natasha and Indigenous Cause. And that was a song written by Michael Lyons about his grandpa, Aubrey Lyons, running away from the Flandreau Indian boarding school. Back in the days of the grandfathers. So your grandpa was born in 1913? Yep. Are we going to talk about this tomorrow? Yeah, I suppose. Here's the deal. We got to decide. Let's decide right now. Tomorrow we're doing our, let me see if I get this right, the Virtual Online Indigenous Pedagogy Academy. I'm sure I said that wrong. We're doing a Zoom conference call meeting, one of these weird, post-COVID online conferences. And so the subject is, it's the Indigenous Pedagogy Academy, but it's a virtual gathering on Native American storytelling or something. And it's for Native American educators or people who work. I'm thinking it's going to be like college professors, college teachers, maybe high school teachers. The kind of people who have to go to conferences, education conferences. It's one of those things. So, they invited us, and we got interviewed. We had to send a whole bunch of material. Oh, what are you about? Oh, we write children's books, and we teach Ojibwe online. We tell stories. And we don't tell them. We tell stories of, like, The Outsiders and The Breakfast Club. But, so, I don't know if they're expecting Michael to get up here and be like Jim Henson talking about, in my show, we are trying to, reclaim the Ojibwe culture and traditional values and impart it to the children, There's a whole dumb assumed storyline about what we're doing here that part of me thinks we should just go with. Just let them believe that. Yes, it's easier than trying to get them to understand what we really do here. It's like we're just hanging out during a snowstorm with some like-minded people who have nothing better to do, But I kind of feel like tomorrow we're going to have to talk about, it is so vitally important that our children learn the language and hear the stories. So that is why we have created BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Yeah. Okay, I'm making the call, fellas. You're going to make the call? Yep. I'm the boss here. Tomorrow, let me get on. I will introduce us all. I'm going to get on there and go, BOOZHOO! It's not like they can stop us. It's not like they go, excuse me. We're a serious conference here. We would like to speak to Michael Lyons. Well, they're not going to do that. So I'm just going to get up there, and I'm just going to start talking. I'm going to say, hi, BOOZHOO. And I'll introduce who I am, and I'll say who you guys are. And then we'll talk about boarding schools, the language, and I'll play the song. During the song, we can make the change up, and then you can come up. And we'll end the show. It's not really a show. It's supposed to be a conference, but we'll end the show. You can make a final appearance. We'll have you come up. Do you feel more comfortable that way? Way more comfortable. I don't want to have my face on camera. Why? Because of your freakish teeth? My teeth aren't freakish. They're just a little crooked. You should see his teeth. Each tooth is in business for himself. You got a mouth like Gary Busey. Gary Busey? That's a horrible thing to say. You're somebody like, if you got one of your teeth knocked out, it would probably be an improvement. Shut up. No, you're a darling. I'm just kidding. It's beauty on the inside that matters. Anyway, so what did we learn today? Today is it's prayer day. And I like to pray. To me, prayer is sort of, it's my best weapon against anxiety and depression. Really? Yeah. I don't really know how to pray except to say thank you. And then after I've thanked him for everything I could possibly think of, then I go, if you don't mind, and pardon me for even requesting anything. I'm not going to tell the creator of earth and me and whatever and Michelangelo to do anything. But if it is of your will and you want to keep sending us money, that would be great. I really appreciate how you keep providing for us. Yeah, it's a terrible blizzard outside. Guess who couldn't care less? Us! Because we got a wonderful little house, a fire. Don't have to go anywhere. The bills are paid. The heat's working. You know. So miigwech for that, Gichi Manano. If you'd like to support the show. See how I just kind of blended into the commercial? Yeah. You could sign up on Patreon. Hey, and miigwech to everyone who signed up on Patreon. If you'd like to receive a book from us, just give us your address. The last 2, maybe 3 new Patreon supporters, I sent them a little note saying, hey, we'd love to send you a thank you gift. They're like, don't worry about it. You know, give it to somebody who wants it. I'm like, well, beautiful. Thank you. But we really appreciate people who support the show. You can also give us a one-time tip on PayPal. Or you can help us raise money for the show on our GoFundMe site. Micah Lyons has books for sale on Amazon.com. Books much like... Oh, I got rid of it. Anyway, enough of the commercial. So, yeah, I've been getting kind of nervous about the thing tomorrow night. You know, you agree to these things in the future. Like it was 3 months ago. Hey, would you like to be a special guest at our online academy of indigenous pedagogical blah, blah, blah? So, oh, sure, yeah, why not? Sign us up. When is that? 3-4 months ago from now? Yeah, assuming the world hasn't ended by then. Yeah, well, whatever. And you think it's never going to happen. Then before you know it, oh, that's tomorrow? Okay. I sure hope everything works. Zagame, you don't have to do this every day, but miigwech. Zagame just gave us another $5. Hey, Zagame, miigwech, thank you so much. And if you'd also like to support the show like Zagame, you can give us a super chat. People have been doing that. And we're getting close. I didn't look, but I think we're up to about $85. Once we get to the $100 mark, it cashes out and goes right in the bank account. But miigwech, thank you so much. Oh, my voice. What's wrong with me? I must have the coronas. Remember Corona used to be like a good Mexican beer? Yeah, you'd have a Corona with a lime. Now you would never order a bottle of Corona. Yeah, can you imagine? I'll take a bottle of your finest Corona. Yeah, the side of COVID. Give me the Delta variant, the Omicron. Omicron being Finch. I don't know, sweetie. I just don't know anymore. But one thing I do know. What do you know? Don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. But I do know that Diane gave us $5. Diane just gave us 5. Yep. Miigwech, Diane. You didn't have to do that, but miigwech. See how that's done? The rest of you freeloading. Oh, give me my Ojibwe language for nothing, people. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Sir Fev 2010. Nah. I'm going to try to bully my way into money. Thank you so much. Super chats. What were we talking about? Before you started to turn on our audience. Yeah, before I started berating the audience for not giving us their money. Getting nervous about the show tomorrow night. The show. But, this is what we signed up for. What do you mean? Well, remember when we started and we were like doing all those high school visits and stuff? Yeah. the idea was we were gonna do this would be our thing. This would be our little comedy bit, our little teach the language, teach some history. Michael gets to peddle his books, get to be creative, And now it's 2 years forward. LaPorte asked us to come to their school. The school we're from, that we went to, they invited us to go and visit. And I was like, yeah, I remember when we were desperate to go into schools and sell our books and get new viewers. Now it seems like kind of a pain. I mean, I'd like to meet the kids in a way, but I don't know. I'm kind of freaked out by schools now. Like, I don't know if they're going to make me get tested for COVID if I go visit. I don't want to have to wear a mask. That'd be really funny if we did a show at a school and you wore a mask and pretended you were like Jeff Dunham. Yeah, I could be like the masked ventriloquist. Because what's the point? They wouldn't even be able to see your face. Oh, dear me. Yeah. So what'd you tell them? I said, I don't think we'll be doing any high school visits or any school visits this year. And they wrote back like, this year is in 2021 or this school year? I was like, this ever again. The more we do it, the more nervous I get. It doesn't seem, like if we can just make money doing a live stream, why would I want to pack up everything and drive through a blizzard? We probably would have been there. Here's something to remember. Memories. Remember when you were a little kid and you'd have a snow day at school? You'd wake up and you'd look out the window and you'd see a morning like this. You'd go like, yeah, I can't believe there's no way they're going to have school today. And you'd get up and like your parents are still in bed. You're like, what are you doing up? School's probably going to be 2 hours late. When 2 hours late, forget that. It's going to be canceled. And you sit by the TV just waiting. And at first, they kind of tease you. They go, the following schools will be 2 hours late. And it'll be all the schools around you, except the bug school. Which, they're canceled. The tribal schools will cancel when it's too cloudy out. But all the other schools will be like, okay, we're going to be 2 hours late. Give us 2 hours to plow the roads, and then we'll come get your kids. Because we can still get that sweet money. That's the thing. Schools have to be open for at least half a day to get their pay. So that's why schools never want to close on snow days. Or they'll do that. Oh, we're going to close early. We fed the kids. So once you kids leave, a storm's coming in. But a snow day was awesome. You get up, scarf down your breakfast, and then run outside to play in the snow. And then your dad would try to ruin your fun by telling you to shovel. It's like, hey, why don't you shovel the walk if you're going to be out there? What? No, I'm making a snowman. Would you impede my creativity? Do you know how often it snows in Minnesota? It's like, yeah, all the time. Here's a shovel. Make yourself useful. But I want to create. No. What's going on down here, baby? Zagome. Anyway, so I was talking about a home. So tomorrow we can, we'll make some jokes, and I think for people who aren't used to the show, it'll be sort of entertaining just to see me speak. You know what's sort of disappointing? What's that? I was watching that comedian Feltface. Yeah, Feltface. Feltface. He's kind of one of our contemporaries. And the guy's really good at doing the arms and a lot of the drama. It's a really expressive, pretty funny character he's got going on there. But the material is so predictably tasteless. You know, it's all drug jokes and sex jokes. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Stuff you can never do at a school or in front of your grandma. I mean, for as much trouble as we've gotten into with our jokes here, because we make fun of the gays and the transgenders, you know, where our humor is way less. Our humor is G-rated. You know, it's just sometimes kind of overly old-fashioned values, you know. I'm sorry. I think it's funny if a man wants to poop in the girls' room. Oh, but I'm wearing pearls. Let me poop in there, you transphobe. It's like, what? No, that's you. I don't think we've agreed on the definition of a transphobe yet. Yes, I'm intolerant of men in dresses pooping next to girls. You can call that something if you want. I'm just saying don't do it. Get out of there, you weirdo. Don't call me a weirdo. You're marginalizing me. So tomorrow's show is going to be super, not this show, but our whatever that thing is called, our online virtual academy. I hope it's only an hour. It might be an hour and a half. But it's going to get really meta. Like Facebook? No, not like Facebook. It's going to be like meta commentary. Because I'm going to have to talk about how we talk about stuff in character. What character do you mean? Well, you know. Yeah, I know. So maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. But if we can't play the song, so we'll talk about boarding schools, and that'll be like the story, and maybe we can talk about values or something. This is the tricky part. Like, we got to talk about something real. Oh, Ojibwe language, boarding schools, history, oppression, racism, you know, and make it funny, and make it not boring, and make it meaningful, educational or something. I don't know. Let's just remember not to do this kind of thing anymore. Yeah, we're going to blow this. I know. That's all I'm saying. Hey, it's Jessica Waboos. Okay. Jesse Rabbit's here. Oh, bonjour, Jessica. How you doing? I don't know. Well, now that Jessica's here, let's get out of here. Yeah. I'm getting while the getting's good. Jessica's here. Oh, no. No. Sakame says, Nasha, can you do that without getting in trouble? Do what? Can I talk about COVID? Can I talk about vaccinated transgender children? I think actually the only thing that we really got in trouble for was making fun of the NFL being gay. You know, nobody's giving us a hard time about, you know, questioning science, saying that evolution's fake. You know, I have a good excuse though. I was at church. Oh, Jessica, you made it to church? I guess it's not a blizzard in your neck of the woods. Oh, goody two-shoes went to church. Well, good for you. I guess you're Jesus' favorite. The Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Jessica Waboos is the one Jesus loves the most. That's going to be the next song, huh, sweetie? Yeah. Okay. No, just kidding. You know we love you. All right, everybody, it's time to go. Michael, do you want to add anything before I say goodbye? We don't say goodbye in our language. Okay. Before I say, I will see you again. No, just tell him I said thanks. All right. Michael says miigwech. Nanaboozhoo, you want to add anything? No, that's pretty good. And Michael. And Nanaboozhoo doesn't even want to say anything. So, having said that, I would like to say miigwech bisandawieg. Thank you for listening. And miigwech bisandawieg. Thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about my Winnie Boucher and about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha, this is NANABOOZHOO, and this is Michael Lyons. Okay, miigwech. And I will see you again. Gigawaba man. Minawa. Sweetie, 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. Make it so, number 1. Make it so, number 1. Isn't it working? I'm trying. Do you wiggle the thing and then push? Wiggle the thingy and then push the thing at the same time. Wiggle the thingy. Oh, here we go.